and welcome to my channel. And today I'm doing, it's not a tutorial exactly, but if you remember a couple of months ago, probably by the time this video goes up, I'm so slow, I did an unboxing and for two painting by numbers, and I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video if you want to check those out. But in the unboxing it did come with a frame, so I thought, I've never put one of these stretcher bar canvases together. I have actually done the other canvas already because like, if I was going to mess it up, I didn't want to do that on camera. I just wanted to be able to show you how to do it, because you know what, I looked it up and there was hardly any videos at all about how to put, you know, how to do a stretcher bar for a painting by numbers. So that's what we're going to do. Also, after that, I am going to paint it with gesso. Now, you don't need to put gesso on canvases if you don't want to. What it does is, because these are made of canvas, and it's like, you know, canvas is like the crisscross, this kind of plugs the gaps in the crisscross to stop your paint seeping in. It sits on top a bit better. Now, this does feel like it's got some sort of coating on it already, but I thought, do you know what, let's just do it just to be sure, because that makes it just makes life easier. Sometimes it means that you only have to put on like maybe 2 coats instead of 3 and that sort of thing. So I thought, let's give it a go. So it's like a double tutorial: how to do the stretcher bar, and then how to apply clear gesso to a painting by number. So let's start with the canvas. Obviously, I will put that to one side, and this is the brush I'm going to put it on with. Now, it's quite a big painting. The reason I'm using this smaller brush is because I'm actually going to do, you can do it. You can do, use undiluted or thin with up to 25% water. The one I practiced on, I did 25% water because I didn't want it to be too gritty. And that made me happy. But obviously with water in it, I didn't want it to be too slooshy. Technical terms. Yeah, I wanted to be able to control how much water went on the canvas to be evenly. So that's why I've done it that. You could use a bigger one. That's just my preference. So I'll put that to one side. And these are the pins for when you pin the painting onto the stretcher bar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the stretcher bar, and then I'm going to apply the gesso after it's all framed up. So let's get to this. So as you can see, there are 2 smaller and 2 longer pieces for our long and our short. Let's figure it out. So we want this and this, and we're gonna do, when we put the painting on it, apparently this is one of the few bits of information I did find. You put the picture on this bit so that it has so it floats over the edge. I think so that it doesn't get a sharp crease. I don't know. I am not technical. This is not a technical video. This is for people like me who do not know what they're doing. So these pieces just slot, you know, they're straightforward slot in. I'll just get rid of that little bit of so this is like balsa wood, I guess. It's a very soft wood, so it can dent, but it doesn't matter because it's going underneath the painting. So we'll slide that in there as well. Hang on. To help if I actually put it in the side with a groove. That's the trouble, because I'm doing it on camera. I am normally I'd pick this up and put my nose in it so to see what I'm doing. So it just slides in there. Actually, I'm going to turn it around. Today I'm sitting down because I'm filming and I wouldn't be able to lean in front of the thing. So again, I've just slid it in. It's like little grooves, so it's just straightforward. This bit, nice and easy. So that's our base frame, and you want it in nice and tight because you don't want it to wobble, if you know what I mean. Now what we're going to do is, like I say, you want it with this knobble side out, not the flat side, not this side. That's going to be like the back of your painting that would go up against the wall if that makes sense. We're doing this. We're going to place our painting on top of it for the moment, because what we're going to do is we don't have to line it up exactly, but obviously we want this line of the canvas to match where the edge of the frame is. That's what we want to do. So we're just roughly going to get it into position, and then we're going to flip it over and do it properly. Right, so this is how we've got it. The royal we. So if I do this, it's awkward because I cannot show. Right, so this line, we're going to lay this down, and you're going to have to, this is something you have to do. I mean, what could help make it easier is if you just pinch it along this line where the edge of the canvas is. And now you can see where you want this to go. You see what I mean? So we have our crease, and I'm going to do the same on this end. I'm just going to, such a wrangling match. This is why, this is why I have to do it sitting down, because I would just be in the frame all the time if I was doing it standing up. We don't want that. Right, so just going to, again, and I'm just doing that, sharp crease. And then now we know when I slide in my canvas there, I can see exactly where I want the edge of that canvas to go and line up. And now, where did I put them? And this is when we want our tacks. So let me you get a little bag of tacks. Now what I did with this, because there are quite a lot, and you will be using them all, but initially you're only going to use a few, because your main purpose right now is to get this lined up so your lines all line up with the frame. So I've got that. And where was this one? This one was here. And we've lined up this one. And now, as I hopefully, this is lined up. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this in, but I'm not going to pop it in the middle where you might expect it. This is going to be like a placeholder. So I'm not pushing it right in. I've left plenty of space. With my nail, look, loads of space. This is just so that the canvas doesn't scoot around while I'm fiddling with things. And in fact, you can see, look, it could just, and that's good. That's what we want. And now I'm going to line up this. And I'm going to do the same there. And I'm just going to put it, not right in the middle again, but just like to the side. And the reason why I don't put them in the middle is because that's where I think I'm going to end up. When I do it properly, that's where I want the pins to be. I want them to be equally distant and in position. And because this is soft wood, if I took the pin in and out and in and out, the hole would get big and it would wiggle around. So now, hopefully, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to pull it nice and tight. And I'm just going to put in this placeholder here, because then, having done two, and now finally the third. Don't worry about it being baggy just yet, because this is a trick as well. I found out, nobody told me about this with gesso, but I don't know if it's the gesso or whether it's the liquid, but there's a trick to this bagginess that will all magically disappear. But we'll just pin this again. I'm putting it tight, soft one in, and now we're going to flip it over and see how have we done for positioning. So I can see I've gone a bit, my top and bottom looks okay, but I've got a bit, can you see, I've got quite a bit of a line showing there. So we just need to move it that way on the bottom. So that's this corner. I'm going to pull it towards me. So we'll take out this pin again. And I'm just going to, right, so that's not going to work. So that's just, it's finding out which bit is going to give you the most movement. Let's try that. So it's a little bit fiddly, just this first bit to get it lined up. Now, is that better? It's a little bit better, but no, I'm still skewy, aren't I? So let's do this side. And I want this to release a bit, don't I? So let's just, I'm going to pull that here. Let's see how that goes. And we just tighten this up again. This is the only corner we haven't tried. So we'll just try a small smidgen, a couple of millimetres just to the right. Try this. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Oh, I've come unpopped. I think I pulled that one out and didn't pull it back. Right. Again, don't worry about this baggy bit. How are we looking? So now this is better, but not. So if I pull that tight, because this is where we want to see how it goes. All right, sometimes the easiest way is to just accept that you're not happy with the placement. So I kept fiddling and fiddling, and really what I just needed to do was to unpin it all and start from scratch. But now I think I'm happy. If I did, basically what I did, I just put one in the bottom and then got the line straight. And then there's a certain amount of swivel room where you can, so as long as you've got it straight here and straight on the line, you know, you check your corners, and then that way you can just swivel it back and forth to get things straight, and then you can start putting the other pins in. Right, so I saved you the struggle bus. You'll see though, there's a few holes. This is why this balsa is so good. And also why you don't put it in places where you think you're going to be doing your final pinning. Because, yeah, you play around and you wiggle, and if you're not happy, then you just do it again. So let's just hopefully get one in here. No, I said I could have 4 along the bottom, didn't I? Oh, don't mess this up. Right. I'll have one here, not in the same hole. And we'll move this one over slightly. And we'll move this one over this way slightly. And also make sure you've got a nice bit of tension still. And then this pin can go in the middle, hopefully. We'll find a space where we've not pinned before. Now let's do this side, where I said you could have 6. And then we'll do the corners last. I don't know if that's the right way, but it's the way I did it. Maybe do the corners first. I could not say. And then when we get to three sides, because that's it basically secure, that's when I'm gonna check we're still all on track. Hopefully things have not shifted. This is the fiddliest part. Once you've done this part, you're set. And put one in there, 4. Right, let's check, see how we're doing. Am I happy? That's roughly along the line. That is roughly along the line. That is roughly along the line. This is the side we haven't done, so that'll get pulled tight. Okay, we're good. Let's pull these out and pull this tight. Oop. Do that again. Like I say, there was no real guides. I saw a guide where it was just like a sort of 2 or 3 minute guide. Let's get rid of that. I'll cut that off. Just a loose thread. But there was no instructions with it, and they was just like someone standing at a table to music. I'm like, just give me some tips. I mean, I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, but at least you can see. How did I want to do it? One here. But at least you can see what works for me, and you can decide whether you want to do the same or whether. I have not got them very evenly spaced out on the other side. Not tight. But I can go back and fix that, that's fine. And then one here. You can see what works and what doesn't work, and where I'm struggling, and then you can say, well, I can do that better. Right, I'm just going to fix this. No, I'm going to check it first again. Check, and check again. But I think, you know, here's the line. And that's exactly on the corner. This is exactly on the corner. Yeah, no, we won. This one is just slightly over the top. So I think maybe the frame just wasn't, but it's only like a millimetre. It's not gonna, nobody's gonna care. You're not gonna see it in the, when you're looking at it straight on. Eventually I plan to, if I paint it, I will paint along the frame edge, and then you won't see anything there. So yeah, let's go with that. I can push down these things, and then I should have 4 left, and I've got 5. What have I left out? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I can have space. That's what goes in here. So we've got 1 to go in here. And now we're going to do the corners. Now, how you do your corners is up to you. You can either like cut, because you can see there's like these lines here. You can either just slice down here a little bit, and then you can tuck them in, which is what I've done up here. You can like cut it in, and then you fold them underneath here, and then you've got like a straight square. Or you can do a slice in one, which I think this is my preferred way, and like you fold it into a triangle, and it just, can you see how it's like it comes across the corner? And I just feel it doesn't really matter. They both look quite tidy. So it's up to you, but I would, rather than just cut it off, I would just go with a slice, and then so you can fold it over, and then that gives you like a bit of strength to, which way shall I go? This way. Gives you a bit of strength to the, you know, to the corner, so that it's like there. Get that tucked in there, and then I've got it here, and you can see it's got the little, it comes over here. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to bring my thumb there, so it's going over the corner. And then I'm going to fold that up. And this is where I'm going to pin it. So it goes through all the layers. There. You see how it's done? Like this is where the fold is. And just, I think I just quite like the way it folds over the corner there. So again, this way. And then I'm bringing this down so it's there. My thumb is there. I'm going to bring it around that corner, and then fold it. See what I mean? So there's a crease line. In there, push this here. So you're bringing the corner around here. And then I'm going to put it tight as I can. And I'm going to put the pin in. Right, so one final check before we push all the tacks in really close. But I think we're good. Don't worry. Now, I was initially worried about all these wrinkles that I can still see. Don't worry, Gesso will fix that. So let's push these in. We're committing. Though you can still pull them out if you need. Nothing is nice and soft wood, so just get that pressure in there. Corners especially. You see, I didn't do a great job keeping them like uniform positions, but it does the job. It doesn't matter. Right. So there's our canvas. Let's put this way, because now we are going to do gesso. So let me just grab my little dish. Like I say, I'm going to use it diluted 25%. So be right back. All right, we're back. I haven't made up a huge amount, so being what I am, I just put out 3 big blobs and then a splash of water, and then I gave it a stir. So basically, this is white. It looks like PVA glue, but it's got sort of gritty things in it. And the gritty bits are what's going to go in between the grooves of the canvas. So I did give it a stir, but we're just giving another one because I want to coat my brush anyway. And it actually feels a bit thicker than I had it last time. So clearly I didn't put quite as much water in. If I run out though, it's easy enough to just put another squirt in the bottle, and we'll be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it a crisscross. I'm going to go up and down, and then I'm going to go back and forth. And that should, the brushes then should mean that, you know, it gets in all the little nooks and crannies, which is what we're doing it for. So that's what, yeah, let's start. All right, let's bring you down. I don't know if you can see it. So you can see where it goes because it's shiny, but we want to work quite quickly because it does dry and then you can't see where you've been. So I am just going to do it back and forth. And we don't have to go wild, but we also don't want to, you know, flood the canvas. So that's why I'm using this smaller brush so I can control how much is going on. I want nice and even. Get there. I should actually start in the middle, shouldn't I? That's my, I don't know why my brush is creaking, but if you can hear little crackling noises, that is not the canvas. It's my brush. That's in this bit, I think. Maybe I left it in water before and I didn't learn the lesson. I was going to start in the middle and work out. I never learned my lesson. But that's what you get here. We're keeping it real. I always feel like, you know, there's so many channels that are like really sort of professional, and then there's me, that's the normal person on the street. It's just like, who's making a meal out of like the simple jobs. Right, we learned. We started in the middle. But I do want you to remember, can see how bouncy it is, and we got our wrinkles and things. I want you to remember those wrinkles especially, because they are the magic is gonna happen. Hope. Hopefully magic will happen. Like I say, I don't know whether it's because of the gesso or just because it's liquid, and like what happens is the canvas will dry. And when it dries, I guess it tightens. But I can already see up the top, it's already starting to dry. So that's why you don't have to rush, but you do want to move quite quickly if you want to, for an easy life. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you go over the same bits twice. Now, if you want to do multiple coats, it does say that you should like sand it down. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna, well, I'm not gonna bother with a second coat, because especially as I think something is on the canvas already. I don't think this is the first coat. But because I watered it down, diluted the gesso, it's not as gritty as it could be. And I think I'm okay with that. Right, just make sure you're getting up your end. Okay, getting up your ends. I used, like I say, I only dolloped it out, but I'd say it was like 3 teaspoons. 3 teaspoons of gesso. So I guess about 1/5 of this bottle to do this canvas. Maybe less. But this should help the paints go on a lot more smoothly. So here's hoping. I've never done it before. I've only done one painting by number before, and it was one that was given to me. It wasn't to my style, and it was a cheap one off of AliExpress. These ones are like a lot nicer quality, so I think I'm going to like it a lot more. I certainly hope so. Right, so that's it all done that way. And now, I don't have that much left, but that's okay, because I'm on the second coat. Now I'm going to just give it a light coat with what's left, which is like not that much. up and down. Let me pull it back up here. We're going to make sure we got them edges. And this just makes sure that I've got it in all the crisscrosses of the fabric. But you know what, you can see, well, hopefully you can see on camera, I can certainly see it in real life. Like those creases are already like where, because I had that laying flat, because they come rolled in a box, and I left it flat, unrolled, pretty much since it arrived, and I didn't iron it. I'm not going to go that far, but I did have it like under some weights, so it should have pressed out, and it did get better, but it was just, yeah, it was, I could not get the creases out easily, and I was like, do you know what? It's just a bit of fun. I've never done a paint by number properly before. If the paint doesn't sort it out, because I thought the weight of the paint may do it. Turns out that no, it doesn't need the weight of the paint. It's just the liquid. But yeah, it's, oh, it turns out I've done just about the right amount of gesso, because this is, we're getting near to the end, and I'm just starting to run out now. Make sure when you get your gesso, I will leave a link to this, but you want the clear. Do not get the white, otherwise it'll cover up all your numbers. Right, I'm just going to go around the edges just to make sure now. And I've just got that little bit extra left, so why not? Waste not, want not, and all that sort of thing. But being that PVA type glue, basically is what it is. Make sure you wash your brush afterwards. Don't be tempted. It's water-based, so it cleans out really easy. But you don't want it to dry, and then you're just going to get all them little bits, aren't you? And last side. Final dregs. Do you know what? It turns out I got just, that was literally the perfect amount. Go me. Right, so this is the painting. What I'm going to do now, so I'm just going to leave that to dry for 10 minutes, which gives me my chance to wash my brush, and we'll be back and you'll see what I mean. But I think you can, you can see what I mean, I think already. Like, where are those wrinkles? You tell me. Gone. But yeah, be right back. Right, I think we're dry, or as good as. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not a sandpaper rough, but there's just definitely got a little bit of texture there now. And the wrinkles are definitely gone. If you can see lines, that's actually the reflection, because I film in front of a window, and you can see the window frame and things. And also I think a little bit where I've been painting. But yeah, I think this is still a tiny little bit wet, where I went down with the third coat around the edges. But yeah, that is how, well, at least that's how I did my frame and applied gesso. I'm not saying it's the right way, but it is my way. And if even one little thing is helpful for someone, then that's great. I'd appreciate a thumbs up if it was helpful. Also, I will leave a link up here for if you want to see the unboxing. So this is canvas from HouseArt. They did send me a PR package. Thank you so much for watching. See you all again soon. Bye for now.